The payment made it possible to mobilize contractors at 331 sites nationwide to continue work on roads and bridges and keep 47,000 directly employed and 235,000 indirectly engaged people at work. The Honorable Minister explains how this has positively affected the Nigerian people and the economy.
When countries spend on infrastructure, and I think that's a perspective really to approach this. When countries spend on infrastructure, they have many things that they seek to achieve. First of all, they seek to grow the size of support that will drive their economy. And that is why the saying is true that a nation cannot grow bigger than the quality and the size of its infrastructure. So they seek to grow their economy and the size of opportunities. But the interesting thing is that is the end game. The first thing that a commitment to infrastructure does is that it drives the acquisition and the production of plant and equipment, trucks, demolition equipment, drilling equipment, and so on and so forth. That's the first thing it does. So you begin to see activity. What that does immediately is that it drives the demand for lubricants. So if you go and look in that MBS report, petroleum industry sector grew again astronomically from lubricants. Because once the trucks are working, you are buying more diesel, you are buying more fuel, you are buying more grease to run them. But and all of this equipment have to be operated by men and women. That means jobs. Now, but beyond all of this, it drives drilling and mining in the quarries and the mines, and it drives transportation because the equipment, the stone, the sand now have to be transported from the mines to the contractor's batching plant. It drives raw labor, which is what is used in the batching plants and the works yard to cast concrete, for drainage, for bridge, for all sorts of things. And as you begin to see that, you are seeing, if you go to any construction site, the next thing you will see are food vendors. Around them are people who are investing, supplying water. So it's an ecosystem of human engagement. The end game is the delivery of the road, the bridge, or whatever infrastructure to now provide service. But what it has done, so in terms of what it will change, that is what is changing. People begin to be busy. Money is moving. Demand for food increases. People get home at night and can put money on the table. They can wake up in the morning with dignity in their heart and say, I'm going to work, as distinct from I'm going to beg. That's what changes.
Road infrastructure anywhere in the world are very expensive to build, hence the need to take good care of the ones we have. However, there are some practices prevalent among Nigerians that negatively affect the integrity and design lifespan of our roads. Here is a pointer to some of those practices that must stop.
I think we all see them. People generally abusing the road asset, and the abuse ranges from parking on the shoulder of the road in a static manner for a long time, so that you then prevent other road users from using the shoulder, turning it into a mechanic yard and begin to apply chemicals which are not compatible with asphalt and which accelerates deterioration of the condition of the road, reduces the width and the throughput of the road, and therefore defeats the purpose for which the road was meant. So instead of being a facilitator of transportation, the way the abuse is implemented or carried out actually turns the place into a gridlock point. The abuse also takes the form of excessive tonnage on the road, contrary to specified regulations. So these are things that we must change. They essentially deal with only one thing, really and truly, law and order. Everybody just live by the rules. Roads are not built or used in abstract. They are built according to certain global design standards. They are used according to certain global design rules, not only in terms of their width, the setback, the height of certain infrastructure. These standards are essentially global and in some cases regional. So in terms of axle load, for example, we are parties to a regional treaty in ECOWAS, but we are the only country that hasn't implemented it and domiciled it. Thankfully, President Buhari has agreed and issued the instrument of ratification now, so we must comply. So one of the things that would bring is that the return of way bridges are on the way. We have advertised for people to come and bid to operate some of the way bridges we've just developed. We know that you can't operate way bridges without necessarily offloading excessive cargo, and so we need warehouses. Government doesn't want to do the business of doing warehouses anymore, so that's where we need this partnership. We will be designing the regulations that govern how much you fine for every excessive cargo and how much you charge for storing that cargo. The whole idea really is to take the incentive for overloading away. The incentive is financial reward. People gain by abusing our rule. We want to take that away. We have also looked at those who transport wet cargo, particularly trailer tanker drivers, who go up to 60,000 liters now, which is really not the prescribed tonnage. Mr. President has approved that compliance must start even from the loading points, the ports and the petrol depots, so that any truck that does not comply with the approved specifications is not allowed to load. But before all of this takes effect, we understand that people are the operators. So we're having a stakeholders consultation with them. We've met with the unions of the owners and drivers of the articulated trucks, the tankers. Some business fleets that operate large fleets have also written to come to us. So we say, look, let's have a one-day sensitization. Let's share the new rules with you. Let's give you the opportunity. And they seem quite enthusiastic because really and truly, as I said, this is a law and order thing. And when it comes to law and order, the quickest way to success is voluntary compliance. Then it makes it easier to chase the willful violators.
The tendency for every zone and state to agitate for more attention to federal roads in their area is quite high in the country. With the obvious budgetary challenges and political pressure from all sections of the country, how does the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing ensure equitable distribution of federal roads in the country?
We are limited by funds, but we also have sworn to an oath to be fair to each and every section of the community, to provide the services that this ministry will provide to each and every state. It is a genuine concern by the states to ask for these developments in their own domain. People should know we are also governed by another organization in this country. People do not know. The Federal Character Commission are not only interested in the number of persons that you engage in employment, they are also interested in the spread of capital projects wherever it is. So we are being monitored. We are not on our own.
The priority given to Lagos-Ibadan Superhighway, the Kano-Maiduguri Way, the various road projects across the country, the second Niger Bridge that have defied previous governments, and the numerous other power projects and housing projects that have sprung up in every state of the Federation are projects that cut across not only geographical zones, but also all states of the Federation. These projects and infrastructure facilities are no doubt a fulcrum of national unity and integration, and I congratulate the Ministry for that.
So I think where we are, the Federal Character Commission will come and say, now look, the distribution of your projects are lopsided, you need to balance, and they will show us this is where you need to balance and this is where you need not to balance. We are also being monitored by the National Assembly. They will also dictate that, look, your projects are lopsided here and you need to make up here. On our own, we will try as much as we can to deploy these projects to deserving areas and regions to the limit to which our funds allows us.